Welcome back to Leadership Rewired. I am Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks, the CEO of Brooks Consulting and Training Solutions, and I am extremely excited to be back on today. I guess I should tell you why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it's kind of embarrassing because I'm a leadership scientist, right? But that's confirmation because as leadership scientists, we are always doing research. I was today years old when I discovered that I could actually record from the webcam of my laptop without having to connect to a third-party streaming service like Zoom or StreamYard. And I'm just tickle pink. Okay, cut. So today I'm excited because today we're going to be talking about intellectual capital. For those that don't know, what we do at Brooks Consulting, we have a multifaceted consulting company. We have a B2B side of our consulting company, and we are focused on helping organizations and corporations with leadership trainings. We focus on human-centered leadership and trauma-informed leadership to prevent burnout, to reduce turnover and improve retention rates. But on the B2C side, with our consumers, we help high-achieving professionals, spiritual women, take their intellectual capital and build profitable consulting companies. And so I'm excited because today Inc. magazine came out with an article, and in that article they were sharing the 5 top businesses that you can start in 2026 to start making profit really soon. One of the reasons why is because the overhead is low, but also because there's a demand. And I'll try to put the article somewhere around this video if I don't forget. But wouldn't you know that the top business idea for a startup on Inc. 500 on Inc.'s list was consulting companies. And in addition to consulting companies, they also recommended starting e-learning companies and to really maximize the $614 billion industry of e-learning. Their suggestion was to take your consulting expertise and infuse that into an e-learning course, which is something that I've been doing in my business for the last 10 years. So needless to say, I was extremely excited to read that article. But it also dawned on me that and the article does not get into this part at all, but it dawned on me that there are going to be so many people who are still going to miss out in 2026 on starting their consulting companies and scaling those consulting companies through e-learning because of this one thing, okay? It is because many of you who are credentialed professional women, educated, smart, brilliant, powerful women, you're probably like I was. Your brain is wired to overlook your expertise. And so when you hear words like expert-based business, you're going to count yourself out because you don't see yourself as an expert. All right. And today we want to talk about that. So what exactly do we mean by intellectual capital? And so today we want to talk about that because your intellectual capital really is your secret bullet. It's your secret weapon. And it is the thing above anything else that can really make your consulting company scale to millions, right? So what exactly is intellectual capital? There's 3 types of intellectual capital, but for today, for the purposes of the work we do here at Brooks Consulting, we're going to focus on human capital, okay? That is your number 1 asset. So write this down, okay? If you are considering starting a consulting company, or if you've already started your consulting company, or maybe you're not making a lot of money, or maybe you want to scale, I promise you that what you learn on today is going to take your company to the next level, no matter where you are in the process. So what exactly is intellectual capital, specifically human capital? It's you. Okay, it is you. You are the human capital. So your expertise would be your experience, right? And not just your years of service, but the technical skills that you have, your education, your certifications, your methods, your methodologies, the way that you do things, your processes, right? Frameworks that you have. And I'm going to just say this. A lot of you have methodologies and you have frameworks. You just haven't named them because you are dealing with something called unconscious competence. And what I mean by unconscious competence is you have trained your brain to work on autopilot, okay? You've done these expert level tasks for so long that your brain does not register them as valuable. You got your degrees like I do, but you have been on autopilot, right? And so you don't even see your degrees as valuable commodities anymore. Because again, you have your brain stuck in autopilot, right? And so you are really minimizing the expert level brilliance that you bring to the workplace every single day, all right? And so what we do in our company is we have an assessment that we give our clients. And in that assessment, it's a self-assessment. You're going to sit down with yourself and you're going to really start to think about all of the skills that you have, not just the obvious ones like your computer skills or whatever, but even the things that you've overcome in your life, right? The things that people are always asking your advice about or your guidance about, your interest levels, your hobbies. There are so many areas in your life that you're going to be able to pull your expertise from. Courses that you've taken in school. Pull out your transcripts and take a look at all the courses that you've taken. All of those are considered human capital, okay? And they are assets. Okay. Now, businesses use human capital to increase their worth. And it's hard to quantify it, but we have made it simple at our company. We have a methodology. We have a framework that we developed to help you to quantify, put a dollar amount to your intellectual property. Okay. So that it's not a mystery, so that it's not just things baffled inside of you or stuck inside your head. And so this is what Inc. did not talk about in that article, but what I want you to understand today is if you can get crystal clear on what your intellectual capital is, what your human capital is in terms of it being an asset, if you can see how your human capital can go into the marketplace and solve expensive high-level problems, then you've got yourself a profitable business, okay? Because those skill sets that you have, okay, your intellectual capital can be used either in organizations and corporations, or can be used with individual consumers, or can be used with small businesses. Listen to me. There are people and businesses and organizations that have problems every single day that they do not have the knowledge or the resources on staff to solve those problems. They don't have anybody on staff that knows how to deal with the problems that they're having. You just have not taken the time to do the research. You haven't taken the time to pull out your data bank. You haven't taken the time to evaluate your skills, to evaluate your expertise, to see how it can solve problems in the marketplace. You haven't taken the time to do that research. And so you have disconnected yourself from being a profitable consultant. And so it is really important to me that every woman that wants to do this work has the resources and the support to do the work. A lot of you are like I was. A lot of my clients are in ministry too, or in some type of helping profession. So therapy, social work, healthcare, educational industry. These kind of people, lawyers, again, clergy, those of us who are in service-based industries, most of us go into those industries because we have a desire to help people. We have a desire to serve people. Now, if you're like me, if you add your faith to that, there's another layer there that could keep you from getting the money. Because in our faith-based communities, oftentimes we are taught that we should be doing these things for free. Or if we do charge for our services, we should not be charging a whole lot. So because we have that it's not even a mindset, because we have that neurological programming in our brain, then when it's time to try to build your consulting company, that neurological pathway is going to really impede upon your financial success, because you're going to bring that same neurological thinking into your business. And so one of the first things that I help my clients with is the rewiring process. In fact, I don't want my clients to even think about starting or trying to scale even their consulting companies until they've gone through the neurological work, or at least started it. And I'm saying started because it's an ongoing process. It can take a while to completely rewire your brain and your nervous system for success, but you have to get started. You have to at least understand what the process is and how to do it. Because if you don't, all of the beliefs that are stored inside of your brain, you will take those same beliefs into your business, and you will build your business out the exact same way that you built out your ministry, or the same way that you worked in the helping profession, right? So it's really important that you really understand what's going on inside your brain. And so one of the things that we do in our company is we have a diagnostic assessment that we give to our clients as well, to assess those unconscious blocks. There's 4 domains of leadership that we assess our clients on. So we want them to see what's hidden in those 4 domains. We look at your cognitive patterns. So we want to see what your thought life is like. But more importantly, we want you to see what your thought patterns are. So we're looking at, what do you think about things at an unconscious level, right? So we've written the assessment in a way for you to be able to identify those things. We also measure behavioral avoidance patterns. So we want to know, and we want you to know as well, when do you avoid like being a leader? When do you, what things do you avoid that make you uncomfortable, right? We tend to shrink when we feel discomfort, because we don't want to confront the things that makes us uncomfortable. And we've done this for so long that we're not aware. So we have all these unconscious avoidance behavioral patterns that we've grown accustomed to, that our brain has grown accustomed to. And so we do these things without thinking about it. And so we're sabotaging ourselves without even knowing it again. And so when you try to start a consulting business, you're going to bring that same pattern of behavior over into your consulting company. And you're going to find yourself sabotaging your business and not even understanding what's happening. And if you don't have a conscious awareness of what you are doing, you're going to blame the failure of your business on things that may not even be the cause of it. So we do the assessment to help our clients to really be able to see how they're behaving at an unconscious level. We also assess for what I call executive leaks. So we have, as high achieving, high performing women, we have a level of authority. However, again, because of our career paths or because of our religious conditioning, much of that authority that we should be operating in has been suppressed, especially as women. We've been taught to be invisible, to be silent, to be submissive. And so we do a really good job of shrinking, right? And so again, we're on autopilot doing these things, and we're not aware how we're shrinking. We're not aware who we're giving our power to. We've not been able to identify that that's even what we're doing. And so when it's time to start your business and really stand in the position of the CEO of your business, a lot of you are going to have a difficult time with executive presence and executive authority, because you're not utilizing that power and that authority in your professional career. You're not utilizing it in ministry. So you have not built any pathways in your brain for that behavior. And so you're going to find it very difficult to do that even in your business. And so again, before we even get our clients to start putting their consulting companies together, the first thing that we want them to do is to become very clear on where they're giving their power away, where they're leaking authority. And the final thing that we are assessing for with the diagnostic is clarity and self-awareness. We want to know how self-aware our clients are before they start their consulting businesses. And more importantly, we want them to know how self-aware they are before they start their consulting companies. And so we ask the kind of questions that really pull this information out of their unconscious and into their conscious awareness, so that they can sort of see where they're lacking clarity and where they're lacking self-awareness. Because if you don't have things like emotional intelligence, you're going to have a very difficult time balancing your emotions when you're trying to start your consulting company. There are a lot of emotional highs and lows that come with starting a business, and we want our clients to practice emotional intelligence. We want our clients to practice emotional regulation. But if they don't know how to pinpoint or identify the gaps in their emotions, they're not going to be able to do that at all. And so we do all of this diagnostic work before we even advise our clients to even try to start their consulting companies or scale their consulting companies even. And so a lot of the work that we do at Brooks Consulting and Training Solutions is around neuroplasticity. Y'all know I'm the brain coach. I'm everything neuroscience when it comes down to leadership and entrepreneurship and success, because we have patterns that are already wired into our brain. Here's Remy. I don't know if you've seen, if you're on my email list, you might have seen Remy, the AI version of Remy. We call her Dancing Remy. But I wanted to show you that in your brain, in this area here, the cerebellum, over to the left of the cerebellum, the amygdala, this is the part of the brain that you're going to have to get really, really familiar with, because this is the part of the brain that really determines whether you're going to be successful in business or not. It is called the limbic system, where the amygdala is, which is a walnut-sized part of the brain that is responsible for processing fear and all of your other emotions as well. And so a lot of us have fear wired into our brain so deeply that if we start trying to do anything that goes outside of the comfort zone of fear in our brain is going to signal to the amygdala to release cortisol, put us in fight or flight. We're going to detect threat or danger when it comes down to trying to start or scale our business, and we're going to pull back because we're going to feel like we're afraid. And that might come off as you might say things like, it's not the right time, or, I don't have enough resources to start a business. I don't feel like I'm ready to start a business. That's just how the fear communicates to you so that you will not pursue starting or scaling your business. That's all happening inside your brain. And if you're not aware of this, you will think that this is like real, when it's really not. It's pathways in your brain that make it feel very real. So you may be wondering, what does all of this have to do with intellectual capital? Again, a lot of you don't realize that you have intellectual capital, that you have these human assets in the form of your experience and your expertise and your knowledge, because your brain is wired to keep you playing small, to keep you doubting yourself. You take advantage of your expertise and your knowledge and your experience and your skill set. You have lived in that way for so long, like neurologically, you have pathways for that way of thinking, that you just don't see yourself as an expert. And so you're going to really not know how much to price your services at. You're not going to know what to charge if you don't know the value and the worth of what you bring to the consulting work. So we really want to help our clients to understand not only what their human capital is, but what their human capital is worth in the marketplace. And we have methodologies and frameworks that we use to help you do that. I was really excited to see the article by Inc. magazine today. I've been screaming to the top of my lungs for the last 10 years to encourage more women to become consultants. It's now been confirmed again. This is not the first time that research has confirmed this, but I'm just so grateful to see that in 2026, a credible source like Inc. is still telling us that consulting and e-learning are the number one businesses that we should start in 2026. What I love about e-learning, and I have an e-learning program, we have the Six Figure Consulting Academy. And inside that academy, I have all of the tactical and strategies, the tactical strategies for building out your consulting company inside of the Six Figure Consulting Academy. It's e-learning. It's learning on demand. And I want my clients to also produce those type of assets in their businesses as well, because it's going to give you the time freedom that you need. You're not going to have to always be present to do live trainings and live workshops and live consulting, because a lot of this you can create through an e-learning program. And so combining those two sectors together, consulting and e-learning, $614 billion industry. And I can't help but wonder how much of that money belongs to you. What I love about e-learning and consulting is that the overhead is so low. So there's not a lot of capital that you have to have, like financial capital that you have to have to get started in consulting and e-learning. And so I was just really excited to see the article today. Again, I'm going to try to link the article somewhere around this video so that you can take a look at it for yourself, because I wanted to encourage you to get started with your consulting and or e-learning business. If you want to learn more about how to use neuroplasticity to rewire your brain for success so that in 2026 you can start your very profitable consulting and or e-learning business, I want to invite you to our free masterclass on Saturday, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lead like a CEO. All right. We want to help you to rewire your brain for CEO level success, for executive presence, for executive authority, so that you can make those high level decisions that you need to make inside your business. We want to also teach you at this masterclass how to identify your own intellectual capital so that you can see for yourself in real time the value that you bring to the marketplace with your human capital. If you want to be a part of that, there's going to be a link somewhere around this video. I need you to reserve your seat today. Okay, registration is open. It is open. So reserve your seat. Come, bring your questions and be a part of the conversation. Let us encourage you in the best way we can. Let us support you in starting your consulting company. If you want to talk to me about starting your consulting company, you are more than welcome to schedule a conversation with me. We can have a conversation and we can just see where you are on the journey. And I'm just so excited to help Black women in particular, but I want to help all women to close the gap, the wealth gap, and the racial wealth gap for Black women. And consulting is a way that you can do that without the burnout, without the overwhelm, without the stress, okay? We use AI technology to do a lot of the heavy lifting inside of our consulting company, and I want to teach you the same thing. So all of these things are part of the Six Figure Consultant Academy. We don't just teach you the science of leadership, we teach you how to build a profitable six-figure consulting company. And I can't wait for you to be a part of what we're doing here at Brooks Consulting. Listen, the Consulting Muggles community is a thriving space for those of you who are entering into the consulting space or who are scaling your consulting businesses. We want to be a part of what you're doing in your business. So if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel, Leadership Rewired. Give us a like, okay? Leave us some comments. Let me know your thoughts about this. Share our platform with people in your life, in your network. If you know other high-achieving professional women, credentialed women who are spiritual, but who need help, not only identifying their intellectual capital, but putting their entire consulting companies together, please connect us so that we can be of support and service to those women, okay? This is Dr. Vanessa R. Brooks, Leadership Scientist. I cannot wait to see you all next Sunday for Leadership Rewired. Until then, grace and peace, and I'll talk to you real soon.